Alright guys, this is the aquaponic system. Right now it's empty and torn apart. It's still sitting here obviously, but we had to take it apart because the pump went out and we needed to clean it out anyways and harvest the fish. So, quick run through so you kind of know how this works. That is the hole to the wall right there with the pipe coming through. That is the pipe from the pump outside. I'll show you where the pump is. So that fills this tank up. This is just a 275 gallon IBC tote. It has a standpipe in it. It's kind of murky and there's still mud down there from poop from the fish, but anyways. So it has a standpipe in it, and normally this is really clean when it's running, but the pump went out, so the fish are in here for a couple of days without water. I just had bubblers going to keep them alive. But so the standpipe picks up water from the bottom. This is very important when you're making these systems. You need to use a T here, not a 90. You can use a 90, but you're gonna need to drill a hole in it or some way to break the vacuum. I like using a T because I can see down in there. It also allows me, if a fish decides to get its butt stuck down there, I can shove a stick down in there and push the fish out, because that happens and it clogs it up and then this thing will overflow. So it dumps into this tank. I have two tanks, two 275 gallon IBC totes for the fish tanks. Same concept here. It fills up this tank, standpipe, T. As you see with this one, I added a riser to it because it would actually, the water level here would rise above the top of this T, and then it would, if I had floating food in here, it would suck the food down in there. So I put a little nibble or a little piece there to keep it from sucking food down. So that dumps into a filter tank. Now this is completely torn apart, so kind of hard to understand, but this used to have, this here used to come out and have a T here, and it had a pipe that went down. So the idea was the water would discharge to the bottom of this tank. And there's a lava rock in here, so I had a cage around the pipe to keep a little bit of water column for the water to be able to rise and, you know, bubble up and whatnot. And so it would dump all the poop at the bottom, and then the good water would rise at the top and filter out through the lava rock. And then I had loofahs, like the cheap loofahs from the dollar store in here. All that, the lava rock and loofahs, their whole entire purpose is to be able to allow bacteria colonies to grow on them. And that's what really filters the water, is the bacteria. So the water would discharge from here. As you see, I cut this because I had to get this out of here to dump it out. But anyways, I cut it here, but this you know, was connected. It goes out there. I put that there just in case, just to make sure that I didn't have any vacuum problems. And I also put it there. My intention was to put a bypass in from this tank over here around and bypass this filter. That way, if I needed to take it out and clean it during when I saw the fish in here, it wouldn't undo it. It was, you know, it was doable. Like, I just had to cut it out, but it was possible. But I never put that bypass in. So, anyways, that comes out through this wall outside. These are the grow beds. Currently, we only have 4 48 by 48-ish, or like more like 42 by 40-ish grow beds. But this amount of tank, you could have 4 times as much grow area easily. There's absolutely no problem keeping up with this. So that, let me walk around the back and I'll show you where that goes to. Alright, so this is a little hard to see, but that pipe, it comes out of the wall there, and it 90's over, 90's down, and then that's this piece running along right here. Right here, that's this piece coming out from the tanks, or from the filter. And it's just a distribution pipe. It drops off at each one of these grow beds. As you can see, there's a T, and it dumps the water in the top. And I ran it all the way out here and 90'd it down because my intention was to add 4 more grow beds. Just never got around to it. But it also allowed me to have a low point drain and drain the system. And also, if I needed to, I could flush it out if I had to from here. So, that being said, let's see how these work. So there you go. There's the, comes out all 4 places. I kind of just had some 1-inch laying around that I reused to try to save as many elbows as possible. So they're all kind of a little different, but they work. And this is a gravel media grow bed. You have several different styles of aquaponic systems. You can do gravel media grow beds like this. You can do what's called a float bed or a raft system, which it's a box like this, and then it's just a piece of styrofoam on top, and you cut holes in it, and it's just filled full of water all the time. And the raft or the floats on top. And then you buy little cups to put the plants in, and you use like rock wool or some type of grow, like non-degrading grow media for the roots to grow into. So anyways, so these things fill up. How media bed works, they fill up and they drain. And they fill up and they drain continuously all day long. And how that works is there's a pipe that's all the way to the bottom, and down there's the outlet, which I'll show you on the bottom side. And then in that you put a standpipe, and the standpipe dictates your water height, your column height inside of this box. However high this is how high the water's going to be before it starts to drain. And this is what's called a bell siphon. What this does is you put this over this, and so think about this pipe here inside of this. So when the water comes up here, it starts to fill this. As soon as it bridges this whole entire hole, it'll auto siphon. It'll start just like when you take a garden hose and you stick it in a bucket of water. You pull the garden hose out, put it on the ground, and it starts pulling water out. Same exact concept. As soon as you bridge this, as soon as this pipe is bridged completely inside, it'll start pulling water down, and it sucks water. I mean, that 1-inch pipe will pull a lot of water. So how the bell siphon works is it allows that action to happen. So this acts as the column for the water to be able to go up around this to get into there. It forces all the water through there. And what the bell siphon does is it'll suck water through this pipe until there's not enough water to suck. And as soon as it sees air coming into here, it'll break the vacuum. That doesn't always happen so well if you have a a high flow system. My pump's probably a little bit big, and I need to filter, push more water for 4 beds because this thing was sized for at least twice as much, if not 4 times. So what I did is I added a cup to it. So there's a hose that comes off the top of the bell siphon down into this little cup. And if there's water in here, up to the bell siphon, filling this up, that cup's full of water. As soon as the water level drops below this cup line, this hose will suck the water out of the cup because it's still pulling a vacuum inside of here. And when it sucks all the water out of here, it starts sucking air, and then it'll break the siphon. So this just allows it to be a lot more precise. So it's a dead on, dead off. It's not sitting over here gurgling. That's what you hear a lot of times. Just do it for like 20 minutes before it finally gets enough air in there to break the siphon. That just helps out a lot. So anyways, we had to break this all down. The pump went out and we harvested the fish, and I just had plants in here. Summertime plants. I had collard greens and kale, stuff that, not summertime, wintertime plants, stuff that'll grow in the winter and not be too affected by the frost. Mainly just to keep pulling stuff out of the water, because otherwise the fish water will get really nasty if you don't have the plants to suck all the nitrites out of the water. Anyways, so these tanks, I mean, kind of hard to see. So I get them under there. Anyways, so that tank has a discharge. When it's discharged, it comes out the bottom of it. It has an elbows around, and it goes over to a drain pipe back there. So this is a drain pipe. You need an air outlet, a vent. Just like in your house, you need a vent. Otherwise, this thing will never work correctly. So all 4 of the beds connect to it. It goes that way to a surge holding tank back here, which is completely covered, wrapped in plastic. Try to insulate it as best as possible. So there's the pipe that comes into here. See if we can see it. You can see it all. Fucking cobwebs galore in there. Anyway, so that dumps in there. I have a 55-gallon drum inside of an IBC tote. And the purpose is that drum should catch all of any particles or leaves or anything that gets sucked from those grow beds. It should catch the stuff before it gets into the tank, because the tank discharges out the bottom. And as you can see, the pump is full of crap, so it really wasn't working that great. There was still sludge in the bottom of that thing. This is my pump setup. It's not correct. I did this trying to be cheap, and I ended up having to go back and buy an 1.5 inch gate valve anyways to meter the water flow out of this pump to my tanks. Hindsight, this valve's way too big. I literally used it in the top, I don't know, I only used probably 75% of that valve, like sorry, 25%. So I only ever opened it maybe 25%, if that. So really I should have necked this down to 1 inch, used a 1 inch gate valve, backed 1.5 inches, and it would have been fine. Or just went 1 inch the rest of the way. But plan going forward is we're just gonna take this whole pump out of here. I'm gonna put that valve up there, or actually I was thinking about moving it inside so I can actually meter the water inside, not outside, so that way I don't have to adjust the valve here, run it all the way around into the garage, look at the tanks, sit there for a minute, oh, too full, run back around here, adjust it, go back in there, oh, too little, it was a pain in the butt. So that's probably gonna go inside. We're not gonna use this style of pump anymore. One, I can't find one small enough flow rate that I need, but have enough head pressure to go from here all the way up there. So I found a submergible pump on Amazon that has 31 feet of head, but has my flow rate that I need to keep this thing more manageable, so I'm not having to dial that so far back. So that should help out a lot. And also, with the submersible pump, it stays cool with the water flow. If it runs out of water, it can run dry because it's magnetic. It's not shaft-driven seals. That's what happened to us when the seals went out. Actually, the case cracked. First of all, this whole entire grommet cracked out, so I ended up taking a drill and drilling this whole grommet out and just bolting it through on 2 spots on the side. This is a cheap pump from eBay, so you get what you pay for when you buy stuff from Land of the Cheap Crap. It is what it is. It lasted 2 years, so I can't complain too much, honestly. So anyways, water pumps back up there into the garage where you saw that pipe going to the tanks, and that's the whole system. It's complete. It's a complete loop. So you save a lot of water. You use I gotta look the numbers up and get like statistics and stuff. Sorry, I'm walking, the sun's in my face or in your face. But you use a lot less water than you normally would with a traditional garden. The grow beds, the media grow beds, the gravel grow beds are great for starting plants. Literally all you have to do is take a package of seeds and dump it in, and things grow. That's it. That's all you gotta do. It's that simple. Literally, I take lettuce and I just sprinkle it in here, and next day, or not next day, but 2 weeks later, you got a full bed of lettuce. Very good germination rate, all that. I'm not trying doing that with tomato seeds. Normally we just buy tomato plants. But I don't like growing tomatoes in here because they take up a lot of space. I don't have a whole lot of square footage of grow area. So the idea was to, let me turn this around. Our idea was to not duplicate this, but make another bed here longer up the middle a little bit, and it to be a raft system. So that way I'd have one bed here, one bed there, and I really want to add a couple more beds that way. And then I want the discharge from the raft system and the discharge from the new beds to actually go to a new drain pipe. That drain pipe that comes from these is probably okay for these 4, but too small for adding more. But instead of using drain pipe, I want to get a gutter system. So the third type of aquaponic system you can use, the third type of aquaponic system you can use is what they call thin film, where there's a constant flow of water, a little level of water flowing constantly, and the roots just hang down in that flow of water. So that needs to be, it more or less is like literally can just go buy gutters from Lowe's and use that. That works great. A lot of people use like 6-inch PVC. 6-inch PVC is expensive. I don't see the difference. I mean, you could even use corrugated drain pipe as long as you support it good enough. But I think a gutter is, just a section of gutter is really cheap, and it's square. In my opinion, I like the squareness because then I can just cut a square piece of styrofoam as my cap for that to sit inside of there, and then I can drill, cut holes in it for little cups. So then I use the same cups for the float system as you do the thin film. I think that's about all about this one. I do have, I'll turn this back around. I do have this tank here that we bought. It's 150 gallons, I think. It's been sitting for about 1.5 years now. I think we got it it's been there about a year. We drove a while to get it, but I got a really good deal on it. It's a really big, heavy, thick tank. The plan was to put it in the porch. I haven't got the porch done completely yet. And currently, there are baby chicks in my house because it's been too cold and too crazy. And I just down next on the roof. I don't know. Anyways, it's been too cold and too crazy humidity-wise in the garage to really be able to dial in the incubator, and at least in the house I can manage it better. I don't have to walk all the way out to the garage. But as you can see, these guys are enjoying some greens, the last of the greens that were in the aquaponic system, which is really good for them. It's kale. We could have eaten it, we could have froze it, but I think the chickens need it more than we do. We're not gonna eat it that much. They don't have any green they've eaten at all this winter. And I'll be surprised to see if any actually grows back, because they're gonna eat it as soon as it starts growing. So normally I'll give them grass clippings and things like that to eat, just to try to give them some green, so that, you know, all the green stuff really helps with the egg colors, the yolk coloring and the egg shells and a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of nutrients that they need that they can get from their feed, but I think it's better with them when you feed them fresh green stuff. Anyways, so thanks for checking out the aquaponic system. I'm trying to. I got like 5 or 6 more videos I want to shoot. I need to do the incubator and show you guys how I built that. I need to show the box that I'm building now for the baby chicks. We need to do a walk through the house, what we've done so far and what we're planning on doing, because we got a lot of remodeling to do in the house. There's my Sawzall. I've been looking for that stupid thing. Anyways, got that, the house, and then we need to kind of sit down and have I kind of want to do like a project board. We have a big dry erase, but I want to write all the projects we're planning on doing so we can start marking them off the list as we get them done. But got a lot of stuff coming down the pipes. Should make for some decent videos. I just need a better camera than my cell phone, really, but they're expensive. So anybody out there's got a cheap camera that, you know, they've upgraded and they got an older model, let me know. Might be interested. Anyways, but you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.